the greatest of all time, one of the most heated debates in NBA history. However, that is not today's topic. Rather, I want to lay out who I think are the top 10 greatest Lakers. However, opinions vary on what people believe is great. Some believe it is through one's all-around talent. Some believe greatness can be evaluated through their career success. Some believe it can be through their universal value and their ability to carry the poorest of teams. And others believe greatness can be found in the mind, through one's mentality and leadership. For me, I like to factor all those in to get a more complete picture, even if I do think some aspects contribute more to greatness than others. If you want to see the disclaimers, it'll be in the description below. The blog link and as well the channel link description below. But yeah, while you're down there, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and let's just get right to it. One thing I have to say, LeBron and AD will not be featured on this list until, more seasons as Lakers. And two honorable mentions will be George Mikan and Michael Cooper. Number 10, Gail Goodrich. At his peak, Gail was a talented scorer and had great offensive awareness, great ball handler for the time, a willing passer, decent shooter. What really hurts him is his defense and the reality that he isn't much of a stand-up performer at really anything else. Gail, during his time as a Laker, won a championship in 1972, a 5-time All-Star, and was also selected to an All-NBA team in the 1973-74 season. Gail was a key part of that championship team in 1972, as he would play all 82 games and be the team's leading scorer. However, Gail never displayed the ability to truly carry a team, nor has he displayed the abilities to be the lead player on the championship team. I do think he's a talented player, but skeptical on how his talents would translate to other eras. He is surely offensively minded, confident in his shot, but once again, I must say, nothing else really stands out. Number 9, Paul Gasol. Truly well-rounded big, an elite finisher, willing passer with great vision. He's a decent defensive presence within the paint, makes great use of his size, and is surprisingly mobile for a 7-footer. However, he does have some problems adapting on the defensive end and isn't always a reliable option to get points up on the boards despite his rebounding ability. He has won 2 of his 3 finals appearances as a Laker. He's a 3-time All-Star and made 3 All-NBA teams as a Laker. The second option to the Lakers' 3 consecutive finals appearances at the end of the 2000s. He definitely filled some necessary roles, being such an important presence as a rebounder, post scorer, and pick and roll man. However, within this offense, he was never looked towards as the guy to will them to victory, and neither would I see him filling that role on another contender. However, with him being such a skilled and well-rounded big man, I can see him being an all-star and all-NBA performer in really any era or system. He's known to be a great locker room presence and a willing leader if necessary, truly unselfish, and does what is needed for his team. Number 8, James Worthy. Worthy is a versatile slasher and always a reliable contributor. At his best, he was considered one of the best players at his position. He could fill out any role the team needed him to. An absolute nightmare for defenders. He made excellent use of his athletic gifts, very mobile on the court, and can adapt very well to whatever situation he or the team found themselves in. Worthy played all of his 12 seasons as a Laker. With the Lakers, he won 3 championships, he got 7 All-Star selections, 2 All-NBA teams, and won the 1988 Finals MVP. Once again, key part of a championship, and put up stellar performances to win the 1988 Finals and take home the Finals MVP. Though no one would call him the best player on those championship teams, there's no doubting that he was one of the greatest forwards in the league and would have been like a definite consistent all-star if he were the guy on his own team. I can easily see his play translating to the all-star level in any era, and I see him thriving in many different systems. Great team player, could have easily gone somewhere else and seen individual success, but instead he embraced his role and became a Laker great and Hall of Famer. Number 7, Wilt Chamberlain. During these years, Wilt was still an amazing player, but was no longer absurdly dominant. He made the perfect use of his athletic gifts, insanely mobile for his size, and could impact almost every facet of the game. His biggest liability has to be his shooting and efficiency at the free throw line. He would make a large impact on the Lakers within his 5 seasons, winning the finals in 1972, making 4 All-Star appearances, made an All-NBA selection, and 2 All-Defensive First-Team selections. Without a doubt, the second most valuable player of his time, consistently a dominant force in the paint. Though he may not have always scored the most as a Laker, he could still will his teams to wins and was still the guy. There are varying opinions and views on Wilt's leadership, however, and his mindset during his time as a player. However, one thing is sure, he wanted to win and he wanted to dominate. Simple as that. Number 6, Elgin Baylor. An absolute double-double machine and a terrific scorer. Though he has some lapses as a playmaker, he is still overall a great facilitator and offensive superstar. He is a decent defender, makes great use of his athletic gifts and a reliable offensive presence. During his 14 seasons, he gained 11 All-Star selections, won 1 Rookie of the Year, and he also gained 10 All-NBA first-team selections, along with a ton of finals appearances. Always a valuable asset to the Lakers, and he was a huge part to why Jerry West and he made so many finals. However, his play was far from the ideal perimeter facilitator or dominant big that most teams built their playstyles around during those times. And though his talent and athleticism is undeniably great, his efficiency may hold him back from universally being a near-career All-NBA first-timer, as he was, in his actual career. Mentality-wise, leadership-wise, he played his ass off game in and game out and expelled massive amounts of energy, and generally just made for a good leader. Number 5, Jerry West. Man, he's a great offensive guard who can both score and play make at an elite level. He isn't the strongest or fastest guy on the court, but he makes it up with amazing shot creating and reliable offensive production. He was also an underrated and reliable man-to-man defender. During his 14 seasons, Jerry made 5 all-defensive teams, 4 of them being first-team selections, 14 All-Star selection, 12 All-NBA selections, 10 of them being first-team selections. He was the 1972 he won the finals in 1972, the finals MVP in 1969. He also made a ridiculous amount of finals. However, when put into proper context, when going up against competition and the actual games played, these appearances aren't all that impressive comparative to if these runs and consecutive finals appearances were done in, say, today's league. Very valuable to his team as a scorer and later as an elite facilitator. He led the playoffs multiple times in points and assists. However, his ability to will his teams to wins as the creator on offense is questionable, and I find it hard for him to be as mind-blowingly good, or at least mind-blowingly valued and efficient in other eras of the NBA. Great leader and goes out and plays his hardest no matter the score or opponent, has a high basketball IQ and a reputation of being one of the most clutch players of all time. Number 4, Shaquille O'Neal. Man, to many, he is the most dominant force in NBA history. Practically unstoppable in the paint, can see the court well, and has a near unparalleled gravity as a big man. Though he may not always give full effort on the defensive end, you can still rely on him to send back shots, and he's Shaq. However, his biggest flaw has to be his inability to shoot and his struggles at the free throw line. In Shaq's 8 seasons, he won 3 back-to-back finals, won 3 consecutive finals MVPs, a near unanimous MVP, 7 All-Star selections, 8 All-NBA selections, 6 of them being first-team selections, and 3 All-Defensive selections. Shaq not only three-peat, but did it in arguably the strongest Western Conference. He is insanely valuable, and for most of the time, he was the center of the Lakers offense, the main focal point of it. Put him on another decent team during this time, and they are sure to be contenders. Not only that, but his dominance and with the value of the big man throughout the NBA's history, it is certain he would universally still be recognized as one of the sport's most dominant forces and a consistent MVP caliber player. But mentality, leadership, this is kind of where Shaq's biggest setback is, at least when comparing to other all-time greats. His lack of leadership and flawed approach to his teammates is it's part of the big reason for why the league's greatest duo disbanded and why they never replicated the success and dominance they displayed in the 2001 playoffs. Number 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem, similar to Shaq, is near unstoppable. However, his dominance comes from more of a utilization of his length and unmatched touch around the rim. He possesses the skyhook, by far the most unstoppable shot in NBA history. On top of that, he possesses a smooth jumper, and also similar to Shaq, he had a reputation of not always giving his all on the defensive end. However, when he wanted to, he could be an absolute killer on the defensive end. Just ask the Celtics. They had to go against him. In Kareem's 14 seasons, he won 5 finals, 3 MVPs, a finals MVP, 13 All-Star selections, 10 All-NBA selections, 6 of them being first teams, 7 All-Defense, 3 of them being first teams. However, it should be noted that the finals he won were helped a good deal by Magic, obviously, and the road to the finals out west isn't nearly as difficult as it would become in future decades of the NBA. Kareem is just that guy. There's really no reason to explain why, though he does have issues being able to completely feel and carry an offense on his own. He is still an unreal player. He could truly play in any era, and I believe he can be seen as a consistent MVP level to best player in the league on other contemporary teams or in other eras of the NBA. As far as his leadership, the captain is a reserved yet respectable teammate, player, and leader. There has never been a falling out on a Kareem team, and he is more than willing to do what is necessary to sustain team success over individual dominance. Here is the controversial one. Number 2, Magic Johnson. Now hold up. By far, he is the greatest passer in NBA history and a near transcendent offensive engine for teams to build around. Match that with his use of athletic gifts and his touch around the rim, you now have Earvin Johnson, basketball magic encapsulated into one player. The only true flaws he possessed is his subpar shooting and his lackluster defense. In his 13 seasons, Magic won 5 finals, earned 12 All-Star selections, 3 MVPs, 3 Finals MVPs, and 10 All-NBA selections. With his size, vision, and ability to lead highly efficient offenses, I can see Magic being just as successful in any other era. By far the best leader on the Lakers team, with a personality that made everyone want to play and win with him. Honestly, not much to be said. Number 1, Kobe Bryant. By far the greatest difficult shot maker in NBA history. The biggest separator for me is not only was Kobe a transcendent scorer, but as well an outstanding defender. He makes great use of his athleticism, very mobile, and a regular season, playoff, and finals performer. Most points scored in the game since the introduction of the 3-point line, outscored the Mavericks in 3 quarters, scored 40 on every NBA team, carried what would otherwise be a lottery team to a 7-game series against the contending Suns, and makes difficult shots at such an insane rate, he could will his teams to victory, no matter the opponent. Though Kobe has his own problems, they in no way outweigh the massive pros of his game. In Kobe's 20 seasons, he won 5 finals, with a set being a three-peat and the other 2 being back-to-back, 2 finals MVPs, the 2008 season MVP, 18 All-Star selections, 15 All-NBA selections, 11 of them being first team, 12 All-Defensive teams, 10 of them being first team selections. True, he had Shaq for the three-peat, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he was part of the reason their perimeter defense was as elite as it was in 2000. And since the second championship, he was, and until the Achilles injury, was considered one of the best players in the league, if not the best player in the league for a good majority of that time. Not only that, but all his roads to the finals were extremely difficult, and he by far led the least talented team to make 3 consecutive finals appearances since the modern NBA playoff format on this list. Kobe, just like everyone else in the top 4, have the tools and the drive to be absolutely dominant no matter the era or team. I feel like his 2006 season is enough on its own to see his insane ability to shoulder an offense and will teams to wins against, wow, ignore that, please ignore that. Where was I at? Right, him carrying, he carried, the end. As far as his mentality and leadership though, it's probably both his greatest strength and his greatest weakness. Though he ironed out his leadership problems, there's no doubt that early in his career, he didn't always focus his efforts on making the right play for the team and rather tried to do it all by himself. But by time he got his 4th and 5th NBA ring, he blocked a finals win, whatever you want to call it, he became a great leader and decision maker for Los Angeles. And that is my top 10. So yeah, that's kind of it. Tell me what your top 10 is. Where do you think in a couple years, where do you think LeBron and AD will rank on this list? What you think about it? And that's kind of all I got. Always remember, greatness has no limits. And until next time, which next time will more than likely be me talking about why Allen Iverson wasn't the best guard in 2001. I cannot wait for the comment section on that one. See you guys later.